We'll just do a quick introduction. Steve Colt, Alderman, Chairperson. And if everybody else that's online wanted to introduce themselves, then we'll go to the people down at City Hall.
Scott Kellogg, Alderperson.
Kyle Kearns, Director of Community Development.
Sue Schill, City Attorney.
Shane Blazer, Mayor.
Thad Kubishek, Committee Member.
All right. We'll go to the first item, which is review and approval of the City of Wisconsin Rapids Grant Management Policy. Who am I starting with on that one?
That would be me.
Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Basically what this is that, this is one of those things that we get federal dollars. We have to have a grant management policy that kind of dictates the conditions and how we manage and account for those funds. And so on an annual basis, we'll be reviewing this policy and updating it. We've updated last time in 2016. There's no actual changes at this point, but it's just a good standard internal control policy that both the governing board and most importantly, department heads that apply for any type of funds, whether it's federal, state, or local funds, abide by this policy so that I can account for them properly for the single audit if we would have one.
Have any questions for Tim?
I'll make a motion for approval with no changes as recommended by the finance manager, or what, Tim, finance director?
I'll
Fine.
second Scott Kellogg.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and second. Is there any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Item number 3 is consider for approval a resolution amending the 2021 budget. Tim, I'll go back to you.
Yep. Okay, this is I'll be bringing back one a little bit later in the year, but I just wanted to get these two on the April for kind of approval purposes. The first being is a couple months back, Public Works Committee approved a change in scope on the 1 Mile Creek dredging project, and so I'm reflecting that with an additional $40,000 of additional expenditures for that project, which will be funded out of the stormwater utility. Also, when we were reviewing the 2021 traffic control budget, we're going through with City Engineer Joe Eichstad, the intersections that needed improvement, and we identified that there were 4 additional intersections that they were going to upgrade, and they're taking care of 2 of them in the 2021 budget, and then they would put the other 4, which I identified in my email earlier today, in the 2022 budget. And basically, I'm just putting forth the recommendation that just for logistic purposes and just to get those intersections all upgraded, that we include that in the budget amendment and take it out of our non-lapsing reserves to do that work this year, and that way they can get all 6 intersections done this year. And then you'll see obviously a routes to recovery grant, a reduction in that, and that is because if you recall in the 2021 budget, we anticipated we were getting those monies. However, due to some year-end prices in 2022 or 2020, we took advantage of that, and now so we expended those funds in 2020, and that's thus not needed in 2021.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Tim?
Yeah, Mr. Chairperson Thad here. Tim, real quick, in terms of the budget amendment document that you actually have, are you going to present something? Because on the opposite side of the general fund, are you going to show where it's actually coming out of the general fund reserves then? Because the document basically doesn't have anything there. Or is that going to be something that's combined with the annual carryover budget amendment?
Right, actually, the budget amendment shows everything coming out of the expenditure side. So basically, I budget non-lapsing carryover for expenditure restraint purposes, an amount roughly around 1 million. So basically, so we avoid violating any expenditure restraint, I budget that amount. So that's basically our cushion in that formula. And so as you see that it's actually coming out of that. So it's all on the expenditure side. So in all actuality, in the whole budget document, nothing is changed on the expenditure side.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for Tim?
No.
All right. Hearing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve a resolution amending the 2021 budget.
I'll second Scott Kellogg.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is audit of the bills. Check numbers 7584 to 8063. Those were sent. Did you guys have a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on any of those from anyone? Hearing no questions, I'll make a motion to approve checks numbers 7584 to 8063.
I'll second Kellogg.
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 5 is consider the sale of a vacant city parking lot located near East Jackson Street, parcel ID 34-08147 to an adjoining property owner, CNC Steckbauer LLC. In open session, the committee may vote to go into closed session under section 19.85 para 1 para E of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In closed session, the committee may discuss negotiations and strategy regarding the sale of the above property. With that, I will make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. I'll start with Ad.
Alderperson Coth, I think we were going to maybe go into open for a little bit to discuss it generally with the buyer, and then we would go into close after for negotiation purposes. So I guess it would be my advice to continue into open to at least introduce the matter, and then we can go into closed after the buyer has presented.
I'll withdraw the motion for closed session at this time. Scott, do you want to withdraw your second?
Yes.
All right. Stu, we'll start with you then.
Steve, this is Kyle, Director of Community Development. I do have a brief presentation, if you wouldn't mind. I can share my screen and just go over the request just to make sure everybody understands it.
Okay, go ahead, Kyle.
And I do want to note that the applicant is here today, so he can certainly answer any questions that may come up with regards to the presentation as well. So ultimately, this is, again, a request to sell a portion of the parking lot. The parking lot has 10 stalls. 3 are currently leased to a neighboring business. Proposed improvements that the potential buyer has requested include concrete, patio seating, a covered bar, fencing, and some lighting. There has been an offer of $12,000 that's been submitted. and the city purchased the property in 2001 for $24,000. And the current value, as noted by the city assessor, is approximately $23,800. Here's a vicinity map. Again, the area that's in question is here. Here are some photos or renderings. Again, these were included within the packet of the proposed improvements. And here are some photos of the site as it exists today. With regards to the review, there are a few things I wanted to note. With any sort of downtown development, we can rely on our existing planning documents. In this case, we've got the waterfront plan from 2009, the downtown plan, and we identify Jackson Street here as a void in terms of the span, the street cross section there, a void in street frontages is lacking due to not having business or buildings right up to the street frontage as we have in other instances in downtown. This identifies areas where we can enhance the primary street frontages, and you can see I've circled in yellow the area in question here, the parking lot. And actually, this plan recommends possibly, constructing buildings on what would be the southeastern city parking lot here to create some of that activity along the street frontage. And again, this plan does just that as well in terms of identifying the location, right? So the parking lot is here, and this is the area that the plan identifies as ways in which we can inject infill development onto this street frontage. From a review standpoint, there are approximately 38 parking stalls that exist within this parking lot as well as the adjacent parking lot to the southeast. Within the last 15 years, the city has averaged 10 parking permits combined within both of those two lots. The lot is in need of complete repair over the next 2 to 3 years, and there are costs associated with that repair. Again, I talked about the downtown plan, which generally recommends infill development. Furthermore, the property is somewhat unique given its size and location. Any future development likely is going to be from an adjacent property owner as an addition, aside from continuing to be used as parking. And then again, I think the proposed use would certainly promote economic activity, withdrawing the use out to an underutilized street frontage within that area. With that being said, as I noted in my staff memo or the referral, I would recommend approving a lot sale for such use. And that's all I have. Again, I do want to note that the applicant is here in the audience as well.
The person representing CNC Steckbauer, did you want to address the body and say anything on this? Okay.
Yeah, I'm Richard Bender. I'm the adjoining landowner on the west side of this lot. I actually own 5 feet of the lot. When I bought the building back in 1991, the city required that I have at least 5 feet of clearance because I had windows on the back of the building. I did quite a bit of remodeling of that building myself. It's currently the location of my law office, and the upstairs is vacant right now, but it's also commercial space that would probably be utilized by a small business of some kind. I've certainly expressed to Chris the concerns that I have. I know that in the downtown area, there are a number of bars, and a couple of them have outdoor venues, which certainly make them attractive to customers. And I'm certainly sure that Chris would like to be able to compete with those sort of venues. My concerns are the parking. Right now, with COVID, I don't know that there's a lot of, or there's certainly not the activity there used to be, but there's still considerable traffic there for parking. We've been leasing 3 of the spots right behind my building for the last 30 years. The back entrance to my building is the only grade level entrance, and that's my handicapped entrance. Right now, the city is actually responsible for maintaining the parking lot and the sidewalk adjacent to Jackson Street there. I don't know if they would continue to be responsible for maintaining the sidewalk there, but that would be the thoroughfare from the parking lot to my building. Being in the business that we're in, obviously, I don't know how conducive that is to having the noise and the activity that one would find in a beer garden, so to speak. I have windows on the back that right now look out on a parking lot with cars. Right now, the Eagles Club is a vacant building, which is also sort of kitty corner from this parking lot. I don't know if what the future of that building is, but if that was to be converted to commercial space, that would also require some parking spots. I did take a picture, I just found out about this meeting on, I think, Thursday afternoon, and I happened to take a picture of the parking lot that I'll give the... I've told Chris that I certainly don't want to stand in the way of his dream. The picture was taken during the opening day. It was an abnormal amount of park people, a lot of people showed up. That's why Thursday I have to take up a picture like that. I would be, I asked Chris if he had planned to have, music outside before 5 o'clock. He told me he didn't necessarily plan on it. I think that was what he told me. But I would certainly want some assurances that would be part of the deal if, in fact, the city decided to sell it. I can't argue the design looks very nice, and it would certainly probably enhance the business next door. I just am concerned about parking for the most part. I know I talked to the sheriff on an unrelated matter last week, and they said that they're actually thinking of putting the new jail maybe in the old Red Owl parking lot, which, if that was the case, that's going to probably eliminate another 100 parking spots. Well, that's not something that's going to happen today or tomorrow. It certainly is something that could occur in the future. I guess I leave it up to the committee to decide what is best for everybody here concerned. But I think with some, I don't know if a parking study's ever been done of how much parking we really need down there, but I would say in general there's at least half the southeast parking lot is filled. And I know, Paul Gross rents some of the spaces down there as well. So I just wanted to let the committee know that I have some concerns. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bender. Mr. Steckbauer, do you have anything you want to say in response to Mr. Bender's concerns?
Please. They're all viable concerns. I think that they can all easily be remedied. I still have to maintain the front of my property, which faces the rear of Jennings, as far as snow is concerned. So if the city no longer maintains that area that would be along, is that Jackson Street, I believe? Then I would, in the mornings, I would just be over there clearing that as well. As far as his secretary, who requires a handicapped area, I think easily adding a second handicap spot in front of our buildings would enable her to park right in front of the office she works in. As far as the parking's concerned, part of the issue is almost every one of our patrons parks in the back, because in the morning, all the spots in front of our building, which doesn't open until 2, fill up with all the waitresses and cooks from Jennings. So instead of parking in the front of their own place of work, they all park in the back. So by the time we open, those spots are all filled. And I'm sure I could talk to Pete at Jennings and just get him just to open up some more parking adjacent to both of our establishments. And like I said, we open at 2. So really, the only, Monday through Friday, only 2 to 5 is when anybody could even enter our beer garden while he's open. And how often that's going to happen, like the Thursday with being opening day for the Brewers, I think a lot of people took off of work. I'm a little jealous of them. Otherwise, the purchase doesn't only add a beer garden, but it also alleviates issues with the drainage from his roof and ours that can all be tied right into the sewer when we tear up that parking lot. I've had issues in past where, like particularly on the 4th of July, we used to have a fire escape for our upstairs. And I was constantly kicking teenagers off of the roof of the adjacent building and the back of our building. So I wanted to be able to tie that in somewhere new where it would be in a fenced-in area, which is why we still don't have a fire escape and haven't opened the upstairs after the remodel. So there's a whole bunch of additional issues that I have currently that will be solved by purchasing this property. And we've been neighbors for almost 7 years now, I think. And it's nice to maintain a cordial relationship with a business neighbor. And I'd like to continue to do that. So it won't just be purchase the property and best of luck to him. I mean, we can iron all the wrinkles. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to add that I'm not on record as opposing it. Just wanted to have the committee be aware of the concerns that I have. And that, you know, I think that if it's approved, Chris has been a very reasonable neighbor in the past, and hopefully he continue to be that way.
All right. Is there anything else we need to take care of in open session, Sue?
I just wanted to add that this, if we talk about the sale, obviously there would be another step of requesting of the council that to expand your alcohol license to that area. And at that point, issues such as noise and hours of operation and that type of thing could be addressed when you're considering the alcohol license extension to that area. And that we probably would want to do that hand in hand with the final approval of the sale, because you're probably not going to buy it if you can't have beer down there, I would think. So we'll have to work on that timing depending how this goes.
I also want to add, if I may, that the zoning code requires site plan review, so there would need to be a final site plan with a few more details showing some of the improvements that would go to Plan Commission also for review. It also falls within the downtown design district. So again, those two reviews can occur hand in hand through Plan Commission.
Anything else for open session?
Mr. Chairperson, I got a quick question, Thad here. How long have we, this is for Kyle, how long have we been marketing this property? I noticed that we've got some figures on here for the assessed value or what maybe market value is, but have we been trying to sell this for a while? I know that it says 2001 is when we potentially purchased it.
To my knowledge, we have not actively marketed this property. This is more so just a city property that the interested individual has pursued a purchase of, and so we're responding to said purchase.
Can I respond to that?
Kyle's the
I-
expert here.
Well, I approached the previous mayor over 6 years ago, and repeatedly with Adam Teagan, trying to get those two to move this to just this point. So it's been over 6 years that I've been telling City Hall in general that I want to purchase that property.
But the previous mayor doesn't vote on what we're doing.
Yeah, but he
So
wanted
this is
nothing-
a- this- Please, I'm speaking right now.
Sorry.
The common council is who decides on if there's property that is going to be sold to the public, and if it's a case where we haven't been marketing this, we don't know what the market valuation of this is. And in this particular situation, we are the magistrates as far as if there is a property that we want to sell, if it's in the best interest of the public, because we are looking out for the fiduciary responsibilities of the public. And if it's a case where there hasn't been a market study on this particular property or any other downtown property, I don't know if we're even in the position of selling this right now. So as far as my question was to Mr. Kearns was, have we been marketing this? And the answer is we haven't been involved in marketing this at all yet.
All right. Anyone else got anything for open session? Hearing no further open session discussions. In open session, the committee may vote to go into closed session under section 19.85, para 1, para E of the Wisconsin statute, which reads, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. In closed session, the committee may discuss negotiations and strategy regarding the sale of the above property. With that, I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second. Kellogg?
We have a motion and second. We'll do roll call vote. Alderperson Kubaschak,
Aye.
Alderperson Kellogg,
Aye.
and myself, I'll vote aye. With all that, we have 3 ayes, so at this time, the committee will go into closed session. I'll give us a couple minutes to get set up here and have it get ready to go here.